What up, motherfuckers? Your boy the hater up in this piece, you know what I'm saying? It's been a pretty boring week in terms of wrestling. There hasn't been anything to talk about that's fucking worthwhile, alright? So the hater has crawled back into his hole, but now he's out of it again because NXT was on last night. Now, before we start talking about NXT, I will concede, motherfucks, that NXT is already, in my opinion, going downhill. I mean, it started off strong, but they need to follow through. You know, without following through, nothing good is going to come of rebooting NXT. In other words, if you reboot NXT and then you decide to do the same shit that you did before, the reboot is stupid, motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what's happening. And it's not there yet because there's so much new stuff, you know? Like, we don't know what people's gimmicks are, what storylines they're going to be in, etc., right? So let's get started with the review and we'll talk about it. The big match of the night is Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Santos Escobar. Here, I was expecting Isaiah to job to Santos because he and Hit Row are all going to go to SmackDown, I believe, where they will invariably become the next Sanity. But that's neither here nor there. Let's be honest, they're not going to make it. Hit Row is not going to be stars. They're going to be like the next Sanity, maybe the next Forgotten Sons, in that they will be forgotten and 80% of them will be released. So there you have it. But that's what I figured would happen. So that was kind of like the big match of the night. They kept promoting it. It worked. It made me look forward to it, you know? At Halloween Havoc, it'll be Tommaso Ciampa versus Braun Breaker. Now, if Joe Gacy were to beat Tommaso Ciampa in a match tonight, last night, I guess, then he would be added, and the match would be a triple threat. Joe Gacy fucking rules. I'm going to make an entire video about him. So I'm not going to get into his character anymore right now. But basically, Tommaso Ciampa wins in a very innovative way. Joe Gacy goes for his shitty finisher, which is a handspring against the ropes, turning around into a clothesline. But when he does the handspring, Ciampa just kicks him in the face. He does like a double drawing in the face, picks him up, fairy tale ending, 1, 2, 3. Simple as that, motherfucks. Match was not good, but Joe Gacy rules. Again, Bleacher Report. I don't know who the cuckold virgin is that writes these things. I don't think it's the same guy. But it says here, Gacy remains a solid wrestler trapped in a bad gimmick. No, it's the exact opposite. Gacy is a short, fat guy with a good gimmick. But anyways, it's neither here nor there. Toxic Attraction comes out. And once again, I am left scratching my head as to why the hell they're called Toxic Attraction. One of my boys wrote in one of the comments, well, they're like attractive girls, you know, and I'm like, first of all, I'm not even sure if that's true, you know? Like, obviously Mandy Rose is an attractive girl, but the other two are like a little bit weird looking. You know, one of them looks like Britt Baker a little bit. Not the redheaded one, but the other one, right? I know what they're going for. They're going for this, like, not punk rock, but this kind of like rebel thing, you know what I mean? And that's why they're toxic, I guess, you know? But it wasn't good. The promos of Gigi Dolan and JC Jane are not good. However, I will say that there's something good that came out of this, which is they announced themselves as wanting to be women's tag team champions. Mandy Rose obviously wants to be the women's champion, so they want to get control of the titles. Like, they're here to dominate, basically. At least that's kind of a reason. Now, Raquel Gonzalez, in my opinion, could have been a huge star. But as far as I'm concerned, they've dropped the ball totally with her. Totally. There's nothing to look forward to at all, except for her dropping the title. Now, Toxic Attraction, I mean, they're not good. I don't really enjoy them, to be honest. And it made me realize something. You know, it made me realize that basically every female wrestler in wrestling today sucks ass. I mean, there's like no good ones. You can maybe argue that like Jade Cargill from AEW has some potential, but literally, in my opinion, that's it. Like, none of the wrestlers that they push down our throats are good at all, motherfuckers. And the reason why I realized this was when one of them, JC or Gigi, one of those guys, one of those broads, like, they cut a promo, it sounded like Britt Baker, you know? And it made me realize that, like, that's the entire promo style of every woman. They have this generic, boring promo and boring delivery. Britt Baker is another example, you know? I know AEW fans are like, Britt Baker's the GOAT. Get over yourselves, motherfuckers. She's not the GOAT. She's shit. Britt Baker sucks. She's a botchy wrestler. Let's be honest, motherfuckers. She's a botchy wrestler, right? She's not good at promos because nowadays I've noticed that people are impressed by promos if they involve any kind of wit or any kind of curse words, you know? But that's not good enough. And I'll get to that in another video about promos and storylines. But for now, all we need to know is that the match that happened was complete shit. There was a match, I think. What was it? No, there wasn't, motherfucks. I remember. What do you think of them apples, motherfucks? Gonzalez is like supposed to be a big deal. I just hope she loses faster than later. I mean, to be honest, that was a match because I remember the next match, Zion Quinn versus Malik Blade. This was a complete waste of time. I think Zion Quinn might be the worst NXT wrestler ever. Like, there's an argument to be made that Zion Quinn is worse than Karrion Kross. Like, he is on the same level of jobber. He's just a guy who's like a little bit bigger than everyone else. I mean, Zion Quinn is like much bigger than Karrion Kross. He's much more jacked. You know, he looks more imposing. But he has a forearm finisher, motherfucks. What's up with these people having forearm finishers? You know, it's not good. It's shit. You know, that's why nobody wants to watch this garbage anymore. So, Zion Quinn, I personally, I hope he gets released or repackaged or something, right? Next up, we have Ivy Nile versus Valentina Feroz. I must have completely missed this match because I didn't see it at all. I didn't see it. I don't remember. Maybe I skipped it while I was skipping the commercials, and maybe it was like a 2-second match. But I do remember Julius, Julius Creed versus Ikemen Jiro. Ikemen Jiro is obviously a jobber. I mean, there's absolutely no stock in this guy. If this guy loses every match for the next 6 months, absolutely nothing will change. You know, the only thing of worth here was that Julius Creed had a one-on-one match. Now, Julius Creed, I think, is the lesser of the Creed brothers. There's something about this guy that's just very generic. I mean, like, it's like him, Duke Hudson, and the other one who is like a teacher. I forget the guy's name. Chase Andrews or Andrew Chase, whatever. Like, that guy. They're like the same face. They have the same face. They're the same fucking guy. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need all three of them. Fire two of them and have one do all three things. I mean, who gives a fuck? And if you have to fire two of them, you got to keep Julius Creed. Julius Creed kicks ass. I mean, this guy wrestles like a wrestler, you know? That's the best part, right? I don't know why in a stable like this, I don't understand why the leader of the stable is Roderick Strong, who by far has the lowest ceiling out of anyone involved here, including Michael Bivens and even the Japanese guy who never speaks. It is what it is. Julius whoops his ass. I mean, Jiro had some offense for sure. Bleacher Report wants to tell me that Jiro is charismatic just because he acts like a goof. That's not charisma. That's called being a goof. You know what I'm saying? Long story short, Julius hits the little. It's like a suplex kind of, but it's kind of like a rolling suplex, right? But it's like weird. And then he hits the little low clothesline and pins him 1, 2, 3. It was pretty good. Diamond Mine is boring and annoying, but the Creed brothers are cool. Everyone else can just go to hell. I don't give a shit. Then we had Vaughn Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly. I reiterate, Vaughn Wagner, the love child of Great Khali and Edge. I hate to say it because I'm sure he's a nice guy, but Vaughn Wagner looks fucking weird, man. He's got these two things above his eyes. It's almost like he's got frog eyes, motherfuckers. He's got these two bumps, like in his skull. They're like these large protruding things that stick out of his eyes. It makes him look weird. He's very weirdly shaped. You know, this guy is not someone that's ever going to get over with no gimmick. And he has no gimmick, you know. So as far as I'm concerned, Vaughn Wagner sucks now, you know. He had some potential because they introduced him out of nowhere in the first episode. They put him in the main event, which is cool. That's what made him cool. It was his booking. Vaughn Wagner by himself sucks ass. You know, this guy has Karrion Kross written all over him. No personality, right? Looks fucking weird. And no one understands what the hell's going on with him. But somehow, Vaughn Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly defeat Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland. Luckily, Ridge Holland is going to SmackDown, where he will no longer have to be associated with the jobber weight Pete Dunne. Thank God. Ridge Holland deserves much more than what he's getting now. You know, and in SmackDown, he will get it, I feel like. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing, motherfucks. Here's the thing. Vaughn Wagner pinned Ridge Holland. You know, I don't know how I feel about that, but he did with a little honor roll type move that Chris Nowitzki used to do. It's like a double underhook spinning suplex. Match wasn't complete shit, I guess, but I cannot get behind Vaughn Wagner. And I cannot get behind this idea that Kyle O'Reilly is supposed to be this like veteran that's helping out Vaughn Wagner. Kyle O'Reilly's an NXT jobber. Kyle O'Reilly's like a few months away from being released. He's never gonna amount to anything, motherfuckers. At best, Kyle O'Reilly's gonna be like another Tommaso Ciampa. You know, a guy that's never gonna leave NXT and is gonna periodically have some runs with a title. Next up, we had Duke Hudson versus Grayson Waller. You know, Duke Hudson comes out holding a poker chip, and he's got like a ace of spades on his trunks, and he seems to be having some sort of gambler gimmick. You know, it didn't make any sense. Who gives a flying fuck? Duke Hudson wins by roll up. He beats Grayson Waller. The fans were chanting for Grayson Waller. I don't know why. Grayson Waller fucking sucks ass. Duke Hudson sucks ass. These are two guys that like need to be released immediately. This is just a complete waste of money. None of these guys will ever make it with the way they're being booked right now. You know? Do they have potential? Possibly. But not really, motherfuckers. Then we had Indy Hartwell and Persia Pirotta. A lot of matches in this episode. They beat Sarai and Amari Miller, who's a jobber. Amari Miller was just like smiling. Every time she was doing something, she was smiling. It was fucking goofy. Right? I don't know where this Persia Pirotta came from, but fuck it. I like this team. I like this team more than I like every other female team in NXT. You know, you have like Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. What the fuck is Zoe Stark? I thought this broad was going to be like a jobber for 2 weeks. All of a sudden, she's a tag team champion. You know, get rid of her. Indy Hartwell and Persia Pirotta are cool. Basically, the match ends when Persia Pirotta hits a sit-out F5, which was badass. She hits a sit-out F5. Indy Hartwell hits the springboard elbow, whatever the fuck it's called, and they win the match. I thought it was a good match. It was a squash match. But for what it was, I give it a B, motherfucks. Next, we had NXT North American title on the line. Isaiah Scott versus Santos Escobar. Earlier in the night, the Escobar people, the Legado del Fantasma, had attacked Hit Row, and they were out. So fucking Swerve was by himself, motherfucks. The match keeps going. Eventually, a turnbuckle is exposed. Legado del Fantasma come out to interfere, but they're stopped by Carmelo Hayes and my hero in life, Trick Williams, motherfuckers. Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes come and stop Legado del Fantasma. This allows fucking Swerve to like kind of shoot Escobar up. Escobar bangs his head on the exposed turnbuckle, right? Turns around and he hits that half Nelson driver to win the match. You know, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. The match was good, but more importantly than that, motherfucks, more importantly than that, what happened was Carmelo Hayes decided to attack Swerve, right? He attacked this motherfucker, and basically what happened after that was Trick Williams was like, yo, cash in your shit, you know? So he cashed in his contract that he got from winning the tournament, right? This thing essentially operates, like I said before, it essentially operates like a Money in the Bank. You can just have a match whenever. So he has an impromptu match against Isaiah Swerve Scott. He hits a springboard clothesline, right? And pins Swerve. Swerve kicks out. You know, the mandatory kick out of the first move thing when someone cashes in. The match keeps going. Eventually, Carmelo Hayes hits a sick-ass Fame-asser from the top turnbuckle. They call it the axe kick, but it was a Fame-asser from the top turnbuckle. He busts his own ass doing it. Pins Swerve and becomes the champ. And he and Trick celebrate, right? This was a good way to write Swerve off. You know, if they're smart, Swerve just doesn't show up next week on NXT or shows up and just beats up the guy after the match or something. And this is just Carmelo's time now. You know, Swerve and Hit Row can go become jobbers on SmackDown. Carmelo Hayes has really moved himself up the ladder as far as I'm concerned in terms of like how he's being presented. You know, heel turns work, motherfuckers. And heel turns with a new friend like Trick Williams work even better. This is interesting. I enjoy this. You know, Carmelo is the right type of guy to be a mid-card champion. You know, he's a little bit too good and athletic and honestly sizable to be a cruiserweight champion. And he's not good enough to be NXT champion, even though he's probably bigger and stronger than Tommaso Ciampa. So this title will suffice. The match was pretty good. Like the whole 2 matches, I guess, were pretty good. The show was pretty good, but I have a big problem with some of these wrestlers going absolutely nowhere, you know? But I'll talk about that more in a different video just because I think it merits its own video. The concept of gimmicks and things like that merits its own video. All right, motherfucks, take care of yourself.